Vayakel repeats the emerson, the same thing he said before, that where did we have it before? We had it before by the last mitzvah in Kisisa, in the Parsha, the first Parsha, before the Egel, before Sheni, which is Shabbos. What was the point over there? The point is over there to tell you I'm being Beis Hamikdash Teiches Shabbos. And maybe I'll go back to over there to explain some things there, because I think there. The ach is what? That ain't bein Hamikdash Teiches Shabbos. Gadli tzivisa amalech samishken al yakel beinecha litches ha-Shabbos mepnei oisel malach. That's what Rashi says in Farish over there in Kisisa. And over here, it should also be the same thing. Malachas ha-Mishken, says Rashi, hiktim lehem az horas Shabbos l'tzivisa malachas ha-Mishken leim b'shen eteiches ha-Shabbos. She said already, so what do you got to do it again? So over there, he gave me a lom de shatam. It wasn't just that it's not Teiches Shabbos. He says to him, what? That Shabbos is so holy to me because it's an ois to me. The reisechem, the das kani Hashem mikadishchem. They know that they made you holy. Shmartem is Shabbos, right? And again, okay, somebody says Shabbos. Over there, Rashi, and I think maybe this is not that Rashi made a toyus. The Rashi says over there, Lodas is humais, that the world should know that the Gemara in Beis says that to let the Yidden know. In other words, it's Lodas, that everything he gave you for Hesya, chutz for Shabbos, they gave you Beini Lebein Bnei Yisrael, only between me and you. It's only Lodas, you should know I'm Kaddish. So how's Rashi clear on the Gemara? I mean, so it doesn't even make sense. We don't even know what the taich of the word is, and you tell me anything. Sometimes maybe he meant it to tell you how you can make a toyus. You can say that Lodas humos, is a goyim were asking, why the Jews so special? So I'm going to show you why the Jews are special, because they keep Shabbos. They're my avodim, whatever you want to call it. So that's why they keep Shabbos. And or they made the bris. That we'll have to talk about in a minute. Maybe what the bris is. It's still wavering there, but I will explain that in a minute. Okay. So he says there, if it's for the goyim, so then you can time it that why shouldn't it be Teiches Shabbos? The only reason that it's not Teiches Shabbos is because the world should know why I made you holy. They can't see us anyway. We have the Anani covered, so they can't see us. If they can't see us, so maybe the Mishkan is Teiches. So you go with Lomdus. With Lomdus, you'll end up with an Egel. That's what happens when you have Lomdus. So therefore, once you did that, now I'm telling you straight out, it's Osir. Period. Forget about it. No bris, no nothing. Just forget about it. It's also to do it in Chayvem and Chayvem and it's Chiv Nisa. Okay. So that would be Kipshute. What anything there. So that's why you had to dig different. Now the thing is, what's the bris? I mean, it's very schwer. I'm working on it. I hope shopping is going. I mean, we say it every Friday night. Shomali Yisrael HaShabbos, Las HaShabbos, there's some bris olam. Right? We said this every Friday night. What is this bris that you're making? There's only two brises that we made, according to this. Bris Milah and Bris Shabbos. What's Bris Milah? Bris Milah is the Ben Shem is a chosim b'psorenu, but we have the Hashem. Okay, so we understand that bris. What's the bris of Shabbos? Okay, so this is the way And what is the bris? It's Oisi La'olam Ki Sheish Yamos Hashem Shishmayim V'Soretz. Right? What does that mean? In other words, that the Rebbeinu made the world in 6 days, as opposed to what? Now the Rebbeinu is worried about Darwin. Is that what the whole shayla is here? The Rebbeinu is telling us a bris olam. Why? Because in 1800s, there's going to be a shayla. It's called Darwin. I think he's a Yid God, I'm not sure. And he's going to come along and make a ganze shitas about the world is billions of years old. So therefore I'm telling you, it's 6 days. And if it's billions of years old, there's no God. And if he made it in a billion years, right? So it's a chesaron. He made the world. What's the difference? He's the one that made the world. So what difference is it? So I didn't chap it. And secondly, in reality, it's not a mila, it's a chesaron. What do I mean, chesaron? You're maktin HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rambam says that when it says that the Rebbeinu made 6 days the whole world, means that there can't be any Yeshmayin anymore. No more. The Rebbeinu can't do it. I can't answer that question. I mean, the Rebbeinu maybe could do it, but he doesn't do it, however you want to put it. I mean, but the Maisis is not going to be. The Rebbeinu made the whole world in 6 days. And we see this meferish by the fact that once after the Chet, he was meisiv 10 things that he was being beneshmoshes. Some things, whatever he did, beneshmoshes. Right? So therefore, he had to be meisiv things because those things all of a sudden became needed. They weren't needed before. Now that it was after the Chet, so now they're needed. So he had to make them. So he made them. So everything had to be made. The Rambam learns the Pshat. When he came to Kriyas Yamsuf, the Rebbeinu made a Tanai with the Yam that at this time in history, was going to come, you're going to split. Because otherwise the Yam can't split. And that's what the Rambam says. And according to the Gra, that what the Rebbeinu should do, he froze it. In other words, it was ice. That's Pshat Kriyas, that he made it Yabosha. He made it dry land, he made it into ice. So that's already natural. That's already a bit, but that means he doesn't disagree with the Rambam. The Rambam is right. The cannot make anything more. Okay, so what did the Rebbeinu do? He made what you call Mother Nature. That the world is going to go to produce the way it does every single day, whatever it is, even though it says, it's still whatever it is, like Shlomo Melech describes it, it's a different, like it's the same thing as every day, and you can time it to the second if you want, and it's going to be the same second every day and the same thing every day. It's going, you can time everything if you want. So everything is going to work naturally. So if that's the case, so why is that important for us to know? Because I want you to know that the Rebbeinu, that I want people to believe in me, not because they're forced to believe in me. I want them to be able to be a kaifer. I want them to do it the bechira. That's why I made a world of bechira. So, for instance, if we would all see mud walking around, right? The nation was made a goof out of mud, right? And it's walking around. You can see the dripping mud from it and everything else, and it's talking and speaking, and it's walking, and what a mess, right? But since we have a human being walking around, I think there also was an accident. You understand that? We're so perfect. Everything's Eishli in the person and everything else and every little thing. And yet we're an accident and mud would be walking around, it would be a mess. So obviously we want you to be malgish from the little bit, the grace is ach. And that's why the Rebbeinu didn't make big big nisim to find people to understand. In other words, in Kirusei and Chirusei, I think we explained that one time, that the idea is it's going on the name Hashem, Yiskadu, Yiskadu, Shmirabba, Biyoma, the Kirusei, like he wants his name to be Nisgadol, not the way you want it to be. We'd like it the way we want it also, but the Hikari got saying that, I don't want to be Nisgadol so much. If it's Gadol so much, then you have no choice. And you see that, and we see it now. I mean, now on one hand, we hope that it's a din of tshuva, Hirut tshuva. But I'm not convinced of the thing. Now, what do you mean not convinced? I mean, you see, I just had a report from Shuvu, Rav Shabbos, yesterday. So they're having their dinner this Sunday. So what did they tell me that they're overloaded. The kids coming from all over, they want to come to Shuvu. The Shiurim in Eretz Yisrael, what do you call it? You're learning what the Torah mates or whatever you want to call them. Everything is booked. You know, you got to find more people for all these things there. So the world's going good. I mean, Vayakel, but it didn't happen because they had a Hirut Tshuva. They had a war came. They started to get scared and stuff like that. So it's not the same. Like maybe getting scared is I'm not saying they already saw, but if a guy would see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that would be no right. So the Rashiva used to learn that by Matan Teire it says Kofal in Hakegigis. She says you don't have to learn Pshat Kipshutei. That they took the mountain on top. That's also true. I mean, one thing has nothing to do with the other. But he says all it means is there's a kafiyah. If you live through the Makis, you live through Kriyas Yamsuf, you live through Matan Teire, how can you deny there's a God? It's impossible to deny it. If it's impossible to deny it, so that you were forced to believe. I have no choice. If I have no choice, then you got no schar. There's no yichus to it. So they're the thing. The Benishim wants you to believe from little things. That's the zach over there. So he said if you wanted 40,000 people to put on tzitzis, right? All he did is made the war. That's exactly what happened. All of a sudden they were the what do you call it? The seminaries were busy sewing and putting in tzitzis. All the things. They question if they could good enough one. So I'm saying. So that's the bris. So I want to say, so what's the bris? So the bris, and one more point. And it's Shavas Vayinofash. What Shavas Vayinofash? That's the bris. So the Gemara in Vayakel says, what's the bris? The bris is he gave a neshama yiseicha to us. What's a neshama yiseicha? Rashi says, you can enjoy yourself and eat and drink and this, and it doesn't become moss. Now, the tall guy went to a Kiddush afterwards, and the head of the Kiddush, he had shoulder, and they had all the Sachen, and then I came home, and I guess, no Hamel, there's all bizarre, and from a different cook, maybe, or whatever it is there, but I was able to eat it, and came to Shalashudas, I'm back up at the table again, and I have no problem. Comes Malav Malkich, how are you doing this? You're not working today. Who's paying for this? Right, that's the way I'm learning the pshat now. So pshat is who's paying for it? Why? With avodim or whatever pshat you want to give. Or that was the matone he gave us. That was the thing that he gave us. See, I'm telling you with this, you see, I put on extra expenses on you for Shabbos, and whatever it is, you're not working on Shabbos to earn any money, and afal pikain, you're eating. How does it happen? Because I'm the one that feeds you. If that's the case, so every day also you feed us. So why are we doing ishtadlus? So the ishtadlus is just that we have to know the difference between teva and nes. So therefore there's an ain of ishtadlus. Nothing over there. So therefore we need ishtadlus. Okay, but it's not that the ishtadlus is doing anything for us. It's absolutely nothing at all. has no thing. And the more we realize it, the more bracha we'll have. I said, being the rayas from Yosef, to that extent, that by Yosef, when he thought he had to do ishtadlus with the Sarah Mashkin, right, he overdid it. If he would have stopped, I think, at just saying that, you know, I did you a favor, now when you get up there, get me out of here, that would have been fine. He puts, when he gunov genafti, merz Ivrim, v'gam podlin, asisi dov mumon, that they should put me to jail. Why are you getting his sympathy for? You're not needing for sympathy. You wanted to put in that you should stay. Okay, you put in your 2 cents. So what else he did? Stay 2 more years in jail. Right? He comes up to Pari. What does Pari say to him? He tells him, "Solstiga, he can tell dreams, below die. I can't tell anything." Hashem Yanish like Pari. 5 minutes later, he's king. So you see that if you realize it, the nation takes care of you with a different type of what do you call it, than if you don't realize it. And the thing, if you realize, you got to go through all the amas nefesh and everything else. Okay. So the bliss is you got to work on yourself, and if you do, you'll realize. But again, where's the bliss? You know, what bliss did I give you? You know. So I want to time it. Again, I don't know really what it means, but the union of Hashkocha Protis. You have a Malbim, it's an interesting, and the Pasik Rashi, you're not supposed to look what the Hasidus is going to be. That's not the job. Rashi says it in Kamiti Hashem Lekecha, which is the Pasik before Chamishi in Sheftim. And he says, what's the Tam Hadava? No. Sorry. Yeah. Tam Ti Hashem Lekechi, Salachimo Bitmimus, V'tetzapiloi, V'leisach Hasidus, Elokoma Shiyovi Alecho Kabo Bitmimus was the Milchalka. Then you could be his people and his chelik. Okay? Whatever that means. Okay? The Malbim writes on that if a person does look at for the Yasidus, then he loses Hashkocha Protis. That means the only reason you got Hashkocha Protis is because of this Emunah. The Ramban comes along, and I don't know who he's talking about. As you have to look around at the Ramban over there to see. It's a very short line about Ye'eva Nesse. If somebody tells you, and I think he's talking about a astrologer, maybe, because he believed in astrology. He says it's a chokhmah, it's not a magic, anything there. And he says if they tell you you're going to die in a certain time, you're supposed to tell them, even if you don't tell them. That's what he's saying. Even if you don't tell them, it doesn't apply to me. I'm a Yid. Yid has Gochaprotis. Does it apply to doctors too? If therefore then we're changing our whole system of life. Then we have to chase. You know, whatever the doctor tells me is baloney. It doesn't apply to me. I'm a Gochaprotis. It's nothing to do with me. And they think that you're giving me the odds of goyim that you're giving me. That you tell me, 90% of the people have this, drop dead right away. Yeah, who? Goyim, not me, not Jews. I can't answer that point at the moment. I'm just saying, but that's what it seems to be going. That would be the bliss. That would be the understanding of bliss. I'm keeping you alive. I'm dealing with you alone, because that's the bliss I made with you. Okay, anyway, that's the over there. Anyway, so that, then Moshe says that now you had before. It's interesting. 3 things. I think it's the only place in the Torah we do this is being a Mishkan. In Parshas, in Chumash Shiur, is the actual tzivuyim, what you're supposed to tell the people. You see, so it's ended in Vayakel is Moshe is now repeating it to Klal Yisrael, and Pekudei is the actual doing it. The actual Pekudei, the actual doing it. And now we're telling it to them, plus they're doing it. Okay. Yeah. So he goes through the same thing, that you're supposed to do all these 15 things here, and and Yasu is a Shizveshen. And also we learned that the Benishim actually puts the Chochmah into the people that we learned before. It was really a Hagdamah to the Shabbos, that the Benishim has complete control. Is the fact is that he wanted people to be able to build a Mishkan, so what did he do? He put Chochmah into their heads. They didn't know how to make it. How did they know what to make it? Right? They didn't have building, but they didn't learn on Legos. They didn't have these things. Right? So what does it say? It says, Meferish like that. There's a Betzalel here. Kavosh b'shem Betzalel, v'ani nosati ite, so liva v'nachas v'nadidon, ubelev kol chacham lev nosati chochma. I put chochma into them. We also is called Shatzvi, and then they can do with everything else. But it's this, I put it in. I did not that they were born with it. So now is the Benishim, when he wants to, he can give you Chochmah later also. This that you say, you know, you're born with it, that's it. You know, such thing. And again, I don't know the people I'm talking about, but on two big people, from the last door, it was set upon them that they had Shvache Kep. I don't know what that means either. I mean, how Shvach was the cup. It didn't take an IQ test, so I can't answer it, right? But who were they? And they used to say it on the Pesach Puskin, who my father called him his Rebbe Muvik. So I'm saying, then he has a sefer. His shiurim, you'll take a look at the shiurim, and you only say, what, this is Shvacha Kopka. Supposedly, they told over these stories. I don't know if the stories are true or not, I wasn't there. So the story that somehow the guys used to make fun of him, the kids, and he was the mashgiach in Slutsk, originally, before he opened up his own yeshiva. And he was, what do you call it, and they used to ask him questions, he didn't know the answers, and then they would make fun of him or something like that, and he once sat down and cried until this, and all of a sudden became a genius. However you want to touch it up, whatever that means, I can't answer it. And when they asked the Shik, they used to say that, who's Mechayiv, the Gemara says, who's Mechayiv Aniyim, who's Mechayiv Ashirim. So he says that who's Mechayiv Agutikop? So Chaim Moisa, it's Chaim Agutikop. Who's Mechayiv Ashvacha Kop? Shik. Now we're saying a Ashvacha Kop. What does that mean? And he has a lot of Seforim like this. I mean, that you don't have to worry about. And he was a top Talmud of some Sefer. But that's what I'm saying. What do you mean he was a Shvachi kid? But that I'm saying. So basically give you Chochmah after two. If he feels you're doing the right things with the Chochmah, he'll give you more Chochmah. You're not doing the right things, he ain't giving you anything. Right? So he can do it. Okay. So anyway, the Benishim is doing this, and you have to make, what do you do with all these things that I'm telling you to build? So we had one kasha. We're just going to give you the answer, and the kasha and the answer is the same thing, but you find the Shemen HaMishcha, K'teres HaSamim were donated. Now, the Lechem HaPonim, what was that? Was that a thing that's for the Mishkan, or is it an Avodah? Right? So the Chayvit could be, it's an Avodah. Otherwise, they should donate flour, right? So it says Mefesh, not like that. It says, what are you supposed to do with all these things that I told you to collect for? So you have to make a Mishkan, there's the whole business, there's Orim, there's Badav and everything there, there's Hamar, right? השולחן וסבדov וכל כליו ואיס לחם הפונים. So the money is for the lechem haponim too. So why didn't they donate flour? That was the kasha that always bothered me. If the lechem haponim is just like the Ketayros HaSamim, you have to make the Ketayros, because the shulchan without the lechem haponim is not a shulchan. That's the point. It's not pshat. It's the clay. It's the migdosh. It's not a korban. That is it. And Mizbeach, it doesn't tell you have to give money for the korbanos. It's not negeya. You're not paying in the korbanos. The korbanos is a separate thing. That's kind of the thing there. But lechem haponim has to be todir. It has to be on the table all the time. It never can be without the lechem haponim. So therefore, it's a chelik of the avodah. Okay. And the same thing with the menorah. The lighting of the menorah is the menorah. Without that, it's not a menorah. Just an object that there's something standing there. But it's not a menorah. A menorah that lights up is only because there's a fire in there. Okay.
But they were in the midbar. They were in the midbar. They didn't have.
I'm sorry.
They were in the midbar. They had mon. They didn't have wheat. They were in the midbar. They didn't have wheat.
That's a good kasha. Where they get the other stuff? So then and if not, maybe they had to, every time someone sleep out of there, money are covered and go into town and buy some flour. I have no idea the answers, where they would have gotten it from.
Actually, the chatchila was lechem was made out of man.
What?
It was lechem was made out of man. It says kach since man.
That the
lechem
was made out of man.
Yeah.
Okay, it says avadi good.
And the Zamet says in Pasuk, it says.
Who said?
In the Pasuk it says kach since man. But then, what's called it? It says put the money in there, in the pasuk.
You guys see that, okay?
What? No, it's the Quran. So there was a part of we get how we know that the lechem pan should be on top of the thing. There's currents from the moon. It's not because of the moon.
Okay, I mean, that's his teretz. Whoever gives that teretz, I don't know. But pashtus has to be made out of wheat, and if it's not made out of wheat, it's not lechem haponim. I mean, if you make it out of mon, but mon is not wheat. It's like the same kasha they had on the mechanic menorah. Oil shel nes, or it's shemen zayis. It has to be. But the shemen nes is not a yichus. I mean, it has to be shemen zayis. Otherwise, no mitzvah. So I say I don't think, but whatever it is, but I have this. My svara, I'll give you this answer why I hold it this that way. By the menorah, that represents Torah in the world. So, if it represents Torah, if Jews don't learn, there's no Torah in the world. So there's no Torah. On the other hand, the shulchan is for the money to do the mitzvahs. Right? So if I don't give you the money to do mitzvahs, how are you going to do mitzvahs? Right? So I got to give you the money. So that's the thing there. And the money I give you is got to be enough to be able to do the mitzvahs that I want done. Because otherwise, what am I asking you to do? Right? So that's why he says, it can't be something you donate. Because if something you donate, that means it comes from you. And you can't supply it sometimes. But what you do is give the money, and it's my job, the Benishams, to make it that you could be able to purchase with that money whatever you need. Same thing goes with Torah. Now, I would assume that the thing is that I remember right now you're making millions and millions of dollars, bilyonim and this and that, and Baruch Hashem, Kol Yisrael is great and it's wonderful. I'm not talking that. But I remember when you went around with pushkis, the yeshiva, right? That means without the pushkis, you make a yeshiva. How much money you collect with a pushkis? You know, whatever it is there, right? It's still something, right? There's something. Yeshivas ran on it. That was the money you made. There was no tuition. There was no such. That concept did not exist. So the thing taught me that maybe there was a technical $1 a month or something like that, but no one ever was able to pay it anyway, so it didn't make a difference. And he went around and he got pushkis. And for that, the yeshiva stood, and they flourished, and they existed. And the thing, how did they do that? I made it work. Very sure. That's what he's telling you. So you need me to make it work. If I work it, then I can't have you donating it. Then you have to be. Then I have to make it. I have to. You get the money. I'll make sure the money supplies it. Okay. Yeah. Then he tells you how the actual. It seems the Goin definitely learns there was only 2 days of actual collection. Vayakel means 2 days, literally. Not it was. I mean, every day, but it was Vayakel for who knows how long it went. No, and it went on for 2 days. And he wanted Nediv Lev. And in the end, V'hanesiim Heviu Esavna Shoyam, Esavna Miluyim, Leif Elachoshin, Esapisim, Esashomen, Lemoel, Lishem HaMishra, K'tois HaSamim. That's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. How much did an average person donate to the Mishkan? Figure out. It came to me if they gave 25 shkolim silver, one golden one, probably covered. If you take along the cheshbon Pash Bikude of how much money was actually donated, you're able to make a cheshbon probably what each guy gave. And there's certain things obviously were not money, between gold and silver and this and that, but it only comes out a few shkolim in that, and then they gave the wool, they gave the things, and all these things, and the iris and the wood, and so that adds more. So figure about 25, 30 shkolim. That's about it. No big deal. And they're called Nediv Lev. On the other hand, the Nesiim gave millions, and the Rebbeinu took away a yud from their name. It's spelled without a yud. And I think they have to tell you that they did not mekayim the mitzvah, they would not mekayim the Nediv Lev. And they only they get it back first in Parshas the second seder, what's it? Nosei. Get back in Nosei. And that's why they think there. You get the yud back because they give the 6 wagons and the 12 oxen. That's when they get it back. But until then, they're missing it. What was wrong? What didn't they do? I'm sure everybody, if you have any executive director in a yeshiva, will ask you, would you like to see him? Love them. I think they whatever I need. So this is what I think happened. They came, and that's what maybe the uptights what Nediv Lev is. And we'll see what the problem was that happened with them. They came, and they didn't think Klal Yisrael was going to produce everything. He's going to give what they needed. And they said, whatever you're missing, just come to us, you got it. It's a blank check. Here's a blank check, fill it out for whatever the amount you want. Everybody would love it, right? Fantastic, right? Especially the executive directors, they said, right? I think the nation wants that you don't need an executive director. And I think, what do I mean by that? What do you need an executive director for? Because I don't have the money. I don't have the money, so how do I get the money today? I borrow. I play plans, I make appeals, I did this. And then I have to, they save it, and when I put it in the bank for this, I take it out when I need it. The guy would make cheshbeinis and stuff like that. Japan, the idea came to me when Japan overtook the United States in car production. Especially they managed to produce more cars that I don't know. But as you drive on the road, I think you'll see more Japanese cars than you will see American cars. And the thing there. So I'm saying, whatever it is. They made in America now, Japanese cars, but the idea is they're Japanese cars. What was their success? Why were they able to make a cheaper car? It was cheaper, the stuff was cheaper in Japan. They have to ship it to us and everything else. How come they were able to make it a cheaper car? Simply because you have General Motors as a what do you call an assembly plant. That's for the main car. But somebody has to make the motors. So you have a company making motors, have another company making brakes, another company making engines. Well, that's the motor. Whatever else you need over there, I don't know what else you need in a car. But whatever these different parts make, different companies make them, you bring them all to you, and then you put them together, right? And then you have an assembly line. That's the assembly line. What happens is, obviously, the guys making batteries and the guys making engines are probably, one guy can only make 1,000 a day, one guy makes 5,000 a day. What do you do with the extra? So you got to build warehouses. Warehouses require people protecting them, no one steals from them and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, your business that it becomes just blooming and blooming. You get more and more stuff goes. In Japan, they made exactly how many they needed for the day. So either to shut the same factory made 20 things, that I can't answer you how they did it. That's the thing, Dalton. But they only had, let's say, making 1,000 cars, only 1,000 batteries today. Batteries are easy to make, it doesn't make a difference. We only made 1,000. Brakes have only made 1,000. Motors only made 1,000. Put them together. Now you have, so they had no storage problems. They had no what do you call it. So their cost became much less. The cost was less, so they can charge you less. So therefore they took over the market. The same thing. What do you need an executive director? Because I don't have the money when I need it. But what happened if the people came by Baikya, and they say, what do you need today? And you give them what they need today, so you don't need an executive director. So you go right in from the donator to the guy, to the Eidin Malacha, and it's done. You don't need a middleman anymore. So that's the way it was in the mid. That's an Nidiv Lev. I'm involved every day. I'm coming to find out what do you need. I'm here. I gave you the first day to know I'm part. This thing. They didn't give the first day. They said, whatever you need, come to us at the end and we'll give you. But you didn't guarantee that you'll have a chelik in it. And in the end, they thought you don't have a chelik in the Mishkan. The only what chelik they had in the Mishkan was the Chatzi Shekel they had to give for the Adonim and Kisisa. That's the only chelik they got, because what did they give, it says? V'anesim hevi was Avnei Shoyam, Avnei Miluyim, Levit V'achoshin, so that's a big Koruna. The Bosem was the Shemen Lamoy, the Shemen Lamishra, like so that's salmon. So they give the Psalmim and the what he called, and that's it. But the actual bringing the Mishkan, they donated nothing. So they didn't have a part in it. That's why they took away the Yud from them. Because if you're a Nadiv Levi, you want to be part of everything what we're doing, then you got to give first L'chatchila. This is, I'm guaranteed a chelik here. Now tell me what else you need. Okay, then no one can tell you that. But you didn't come with the first point. You just said, tell me what you need afterwards. That's not good enough. That's why that was the thing that's felt. Okay, again, that he tells about the Karaji B'Shem B'Tzalel. Okay, we said that last week, and that he put more chokhmah into him, and you see, and it doesn't make a difference on a person's age. He's only 13 years old, and I put the chokhmah there, so he's a child prodigy, whatever you want to call him, but he's got the chokhmah. No one else has the chokhmah, so he's the one that's going to build it. And I gave it to him, and that's what happens to every one of us. The Rebbeinu gives us part of the same bliss if you want to go into the Shabbat. God gives us certain keiches. This guy is good with his hands, as they say, whatever it is there, right? Another guy is good with his thinking, whatever it is. One guy has a keich of music, one guy has a keich of mathematics, and the thing there. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know, we had a Talmud here that learning, I don't know if he was that much bigger than anybody else. I don't know, but he was a good boy. But when it came to certain things, if I wanted to know the date of, let's say, when Yud Nisan was in Mitzrayim, on the day, what do you call it, what day of the week was it? And what would be the English corresponding date or something like that? And what I'm thinking, boom, got it right away on the button. In other words, somehow he had that knack. I don't know how he had it. So I can't answer. He could have been making up numbers if you wanted to, like I know. But Lamaisa, I don't think that was what happened. And the thing then, because everybody seems to know, we got to ask him. You know, if we think there, we got to ask him. And the thing there, but they didn't say ask him shot in the taste or something like that. But this thing, it's a certain kishra he gave. He gave it for the work that you could do for the Kodesh Baruch Hu. In other words, really, you don't do nothing. The Beniman does it all, like we said before. And it says really it's in Pirkei Avos, right? Everyone that's basically the Tzorech Tzibur should be Isaac L'Shem Shemayim. Why? That the schus of the people you're collecting for helps them, and I'm going to give you schar for them as if you gave it. In other words, why? Because the success is not totally in you. Your rotzen to do was totally in you. The success is totally in the Kodesh Baruch Hu. He wants the success, but if and that success will come because of the schus havaisam. But I'm going to give you this if that's the success. But he said but you did it, so I'm giving you the credit for the success. So that's schar he's giving. So he's giving all of us a way for us to be kind of schar. He doesn't need us. He can do all this himself. But the thing is, he wants us to have a way that we can have schar for what we're doing. So therefore, he gave us a case and lets the situation to develop in a way that we feel we have cheshish there. But we got to realize he's doing it. Okay, and then the thing, just one other thing I think is which is important here is the kiyah. Okay, where is it? Vayasa kiyah nechoshes. It's one pasuk. With the mirrors of the women that hung around the Mishkan. Does that mean that means how many were? Doesn't say. Doesn't say how much was donated. Just that those were the only things used for it, and it was as big as it took for them to make. That's what it can't be bigger or smaller than what they gave. That was the thing, though. And what's this place of schus that they have there? So Rashi brings down why dafke there. Ma'asat Tzeives, Bnei Yisrael, they had these mirrors. When they put on makeup, they get dressed, whatever it is. That even these things which are so important, they're not the now they needed to be for shalom bayis and for stuff like that. And after became they gave it away to the Mishkan. Right? So it's a mayor that gets okay, Moshe was Mayis. Moshe didn't want it. And he said, Mipnei she'asuyim liyetzahara. So Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kibal, take it because this is more choshev to me than anything else you got. What are you talking about? I mean, Moshe Rabbeinu don't know from beans. He's telling you that this is taiva, and the Beniman is telling you this is the most important thing in the world. It doesn't fit. So let's see what happens. This is explaining how the thing worked. It says, what was it? Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu kivalei l'chavim alei min hakol shayideim hamidem hanoshim tzivos rabis mitzrayim. That's how they built up the concept klal mitzrayim. What happened? Kiyoyu ba'aleim igim ba'avedis perach. When the husbands were working in avedis perach, right? Hoyu halchus umalichas le'maychol u'mishteh u'machilas oisam v'noitlis hamaris v'cholachas choyi imoim as Atzma and Baila, they showed themselves with the husband. Like, look at us. Like, I want you to see us. Right? And she's convincing you with words. What's the words? I'm prettier than you are. Is that how you convince somebody to do something? I'm prettier than you? I mean, trying to say, oh, you're so good, you're so this. That's how you build up a guy, not do the other way. So that's what he's telling you. You don't even understand what's happening over there. That's what he's telling you. They gave him chizuk. Well, the woman also did avodas perach, right? They did whatever they did, the opposite of men. They did different things. So they did avodas perach also. And yet they had time to dress up, to go get the water and the fish, whatever it is, the Rebbe made Nisim. They got the water, when they got the water, there was fish in the water, and they boiled that up, and that was the lunch they brought them, whatever, supper, whatever they brought them, and they ate, right? After they finished their food, they want to start making, let's think about a family, let's think about life. Let's say there's an asidus besides this. It's not the end of the world. We got to do something for Klal Yisrael. So the husband says, I'm too tired. Leave me alone. That's no point in any way. Paro is going to take us away. They're going to be avodim. What's the point of this? Leave me alone. Okay. So she takes out and says, look at us. See the way I look? I'm all dressed up and everything else. And look at you. You're falling apart. And I think over there, if I can do it, you can do it. So you can do it, so get up and do it. So the husband says, okay, you're challenging me? Okay, you challenge me again, I'm going to do it. So he gets up and he gets dressed, he takes a shower, and all of a sudden puts on a suit and then gets around mensch. Now we can talk business. That's how they built up Klal Yisrael. It's a chizuk that they did. That's why it's before you do anything. This is the thing before you can take kedusha, which is before they do avodah, before they enter the mikdash, they have to wash for the kiyah, because the kiyah is the ikar zach that brought the kedusha into Klal Yisrael. At this point, I think so it has nothing to do with the Yitzhahara. That's the fellow, he missed the boat. Maybe because Moshe Rabbeinu was such a person that was above all of this. So anything that has to do with normal relations is a Yitzhahara. And him, it's not a Yitzhahara. This is the way the world goes. Obviously, the Rebbe made it that there's Anoy involved, that there's a Yitzhahara for it, just like you have to eat. Because if you don't eat, you're going to drop dead. So therefore, he made you have to eat. So here also, if there wouldn't be a Yitzhahara, there wouldn't be any kids in the world. So therefore, the Rebbe meant to make it so there'd be kids in the world. But that's not the tachlis of having the thing. The tachlis is to have it to do L'Shem Shemaim, having kids. That's what it has, because that's how the world lives. So that's, I think, it's what he's talking about. Okay. Then he made V'veim kesef tzibur shem v'veim. He says you have the word yistais here. You say this, yes. Okay. How did they make the Mishkan? I mean, before, it's more exclusive again when in Parshas, in Truma. I think it's more explicit how they made it. He made 100 by 50, that was the yard. How did they keep the curtains down? If you ever look in your house, how do they make the drapes? The drapes will have weights on the bottom of the drape to hold the drape straight. The whole idea is a thing there. Right? But there's two ways you can do that. You can do it that way, or you can put in a hook into the ground holding the curtain down. Right? That will hold the curtain down also. Rashi happens to say in Truma that they obviously it's useless. He says, it says like this. They didn't know if they were hooked into the ground, and their weight is what held them in place. This is Rashi saying it. That they were hooks into the ground. But he didn't really know what they are. So the Shiva learned that pshat like this. A person get married. He has to know how he's going to live, where he's going to live. Why? There's two different ways. There are certain people that can live by themselves, right? They have enough fortitude, enough keiches hanefesh, to not to worry about what the neighbors are and who the neighbors are. And we had during the Deiros in the Middle Ages for sure, that you'd have one person living, one yid living among all goyim in the town. How do you keep himself to be a yid? A starke mensch. He will do it. So he has the weights to hold him down in place. That means he does himself. And then there's others that need a community. Without a community, I can't do it. So therefore, I need a community. So they're the hooks. And they need a hook down to the ground. And a person has to know what he needs personally. And then he learned into Rashi, that Pshat Rashi is telling you an eitzah. If you have to do it, to hang, to remain in Kedusha yourself, because that's what the Chotzer is separated between Kedusha and not Kedusha. This is the Machna Leviyah, and then this is Machna Yisrael. You have you're entering a different place. You're having it's in the Azorah, it's called, whatever it is. It's a different place, the Chotzer. So the Chotzer is the point that we have Kedusha. So what makes you this Kedusha? Does a Kedusha hold from self alone, or do you have to hold help from the outside to make it there? So that's the same thing a person turns. So Rashi says, a person should always make sure he lives in the Jewish community and so on, because that more or less guarantee it. There's no guarantee for anything. We all know that. But the idea is, it'll make it better. So when the guys who make gerim and stuff like that, that's one of the requirements, that they go through the schooling and everything else, not just mikabel because you want to become a yid, but because they want to key him to it. So you want to live in a Jewish community, you're going to cut ties with your parents, you cut diamond, whatever it is, that the more tools to see what you're coming to the table with, and stuff like that. So therefore there's there. But there are people that can live individually. That there is no question about. That there are, but you can't be samech on it. That's the point. So did they have two things? Maybe they had two things. They had a weight and a hook. Well, wait, the thing over there. But that's what we all need from the outside, some help. And that's what Rashi's trying to pull out.
You know about yourself, but how do you know about your kids?
I'm sorry?
You know about yourself, but how do you know about your kids?
You're right. You're right. So, you can train your kids that way too, I assume. We live in Baruch Hashem in New York. We say, how can you do that, right? But you go up in the mountains, you see the hillbillies. Forget about the Yiddish communities that started, because by automatically we need a community, because you need a minyan and that. Yet in the Gila, you have Zmanim, Habi, Zmanehem, all the different Zmanim that you have for Purim, starting from the 11th on. So you have why? Because they used to bring food to the cities, to the thing there, so that the individuals lived without a minyan. They didn't have a minyan. They came in Monday and Thursday to Bezdin, to the big cities, to Yekshei Satera. But like this, they didn't have in where they lived. So, the Dam Bichid, like, what kind of Jews are these? Those are the guys better make some English. I don't know what kind of Jews they are, but they seem to be pretty good. Something like that, but that's the way they lived. Now, the thing is that we don't have a formal community and stuff. So did it affect us? Maybe not, because everybody was frum, I guess, in a way. They're saying that no one was trying to imitate the goyim, because there weren't too many goyim among us. By the time the Hashmonaim and the Greeks and stuff, and you had the war, and that was the whole war was about that. And then you had the Stukim and the Purushim. But the idea was that I was following Jews. Even the Stukim, I followed Jews. I didn't follow Greeks, I followed Jews. Maybe they had more shaykhs with the Greeks, but the Greeks, there were no Greek Jews anymore after Shmuel took over. They got killed for that. I mean, I think Dalton did. So I'm saying, it was, everybody was frum, whatever you call it. Everyone was Orthodox. I shouldn't say everyone was frum. Okay, everyone is Orthodox. But I'm saying by us, we know the Nisayan very stark, that you want to imitate the goyim. You want to, I want to be part of something. I want that covered. I want that something. I want something from them. And that's what we had for all the Middle Ages and stuff, unfortunately. That we got mixed up with them. The ancients would help us. Okay. A good Shabbos, everybody. A good Shabbos.